Hi everyone, I'm Bhavi and thank you for being on my channel again and again. And in this video, we will look at the peripheral nervous system. In the last video, we discussed about the central nervous system. I left a part of the four lobes because I wanted you to do a little bit of homework, and that is why I did not explain the four lobes of the brain. However, I will explain it to you once I give you the test and you do the mistakes, and I will correct it for you. But I will not spoon feed you. I want you to study the four lobes by yourself. If you have any doubts, let me know. But the important details I've covered, and we have four lobes that we discussed. Where are they located? Frontal is located right in the front, that is why it is called the frontal. Occipital is located at the back of your brain, and temporal lobe is located on the temples on each side of your brain, of your head. And then you have parietal, which is right behind the frontal lobe. Now we will look at the PNS, the peripheral nervous system, which is very very important. It is important because it is having a lot of important nerves, and without nerves our brain will not be able to function. That is why you have to look at it properly. Nerves are very very important. Now here you can see we have sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic, which is a part of autonomic and somatic. So peripheral nervous system is divided into two other nervous systems. One is somatic and one is autonomic. This is something that you have to remember. Today I do not have a pen option with me, so you will just have to look at the image and listen to me while you look at the image and note down. So your peripheral nervous system is divided into two parts, one somatic and one autonomic. This is something that you have to remember. And further, autonomic is divided into two parts, sympathetic and parasympathetic. You have two parts of autonomic. Autonomic is found in peripheral nervous system, and then it has another part which is somatic, and it has just the basic nerves, cranial and spinal nerves. But apart from that, you don't have to remember anything. Now, what is a peripheral nervous system? A peripheral nervous system, as you can see in this image on the right, it has blue aspects in it. So the blue nerves that you can see are the part of your peripheral nervous system. It has a neuron and nerve fibers that are very important for connecting your brain, which is called the central nervous system, to the rest of your body. If you do not have peripheral nervous system, your brain will not be able to connect to the rest of your body and will not be getting signals from your body to the brain. And that is why peripheral nervous system is as important as central nervous system. Some students think it is not that important, but it is their mistake. It is very very important. Somatic is divided into two important nerves, cranial nerve and spinal nerve. You have total 12 pairs of cranial nerves, and you have total 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Now spinal nerves, what are spinal nerves? As you can see again the image on the right side of you, it is the nerve which is made up of nerve fiber. What are nerve fibers? Lot of nerves, we can say bundle of nerves, right? And these are connected to the spinal cord, and that is why these are called spinal nerves. Now what do? They basically carry information to and from the spinal cord. So whatever information you get from the spinal cord, it will take it to the spinal cord, and it will receive or transmit the information. So it will take to spinal cord or take away from spinal cord. This is something that you have to know. Now, what is a dorsal root? Dorsal root is a root which carries all the important information that are there in your sensory information, in your sensory organs, and it takes those information that are there in your sensory organs, the sensory information that you get in your brain. It directly goes to the spinal cord, and this whole root is called dorsal root, as you can see again in the image. And what is ventral root? So dorsal root is very important for carrying sensory information to the spinal cord, every sensory information including smell, vision, auditory, whereas ventral root is very important for carrying motor signals, which means the movement you do with your hands, the movement you do with your legs, the movement you do with your body parts, and then it takes all the motor signals or the movement that you do from your body parts to the spinal cord, and then it goes to the muscles and organs. So it takes from the spinal cord, then it passes to your muscles, it passes to your organs. And whenever you feel like you're sitting in the same position, and you use this word in Hindi that मेरा पैर सो गया है, which means that I have been feeling numb. I have been sitting on my right arm for about 30 minutes now, and I'm feeling numb there. So the feeling that you have, the muscles that feel, sometimes they feel numb, sometimes they feel tired, sometimes they feel sore. Sometimes when you do a lot of gym, after months you do gym and then you realize your muscles are sore, they're hurting a lot. Whatever you feel is definitely because of your ventral root, because again whatever motor signals you get from your muscles, from your organs, specifically muscles, is always because of your ventral root. Now your spinal nerves, as you can see, we have total how many pairs? Please let me know. I've already explained it. I will not scroll again. right? I will not scroll again. I want you to see it and tell me how many pairs. Exactly, you're absolutely right. We have total 12 number of pairs of cranial, and we have 31 number of pairs of spinal nerve. So if we look at the spinal, it has 31 pairs. So you have cervical. Cervical is in your head, arms and neck. As you have seen, some people have cervical, some people have pain in the neck. It's because their cervical nerve is not functioning properly and they have to fix that, right? And then you have thoracic, it has 12 pairs. Pairs means couple, right? Two things, and two things combine are one pair. So thoracic, so 12 pairs. So supply the chest and abdomen. Whatever the supply you get in your chest and in your abdomen is definitely because of thoracic. Then you have lumbar. Lumbar has 5 pairs. And what is the point of lumbar? Whatever you feel in your lower back, whatever you feel in your legs is definitely because of your lumbar. What is scalral? Scalral has 5 pairs of it, and it manages the pelvis and lower legs. So pelvis it manages, lower legs it manages, and again it goes in that way. And then you have cocky eagle. Cocky eagle has only one pair. There are two, and that is why it is called one pair. And what is the purpose of it? You might have seen the tailbone. We used to think, and it is an evolutionary part of our body. When we were animals and we were like monkeys, we used to have tailbones, right? And now, when we stopped being a monkey, we grew up, we evolved, we started walking on our two legs, and we realized that we are not using our tailbone anymore. So it's just there, but it has no role in it. Of course, if it damages, it's gonna hurt. You might not be able to sit properly, but that's all, right? So you have these 31 pair. You have to remember this because again, it can be there in your exam, and you do not have to confuse yourself. If you have any questions, please ask me. We decided that we will talk about peripheral nervous system right in this session, and we will only talk about peripheral nervous system. We will not come to the glands yet. Now let's talk about autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is also a part of a peripheral nervous system, which is again divided into two parts. Your somatic has nerves. We have spinal nerve, we have cranial nerves. If you want to look at cranial nerves, I will put the PDF of a cranial nerve PDF which I downloaded. You can read that PDF. All you have to know is the names in the numerical way, in the sequential way. You have to remember the names and the numbers of those nerves. I'll send you the pair. I'm sorry, not the pair, the PDF. And then what you have to do is you just have to read it properly, remember it. If you have any doubts from that, please let me know. But again, it's all about you reading it. I've not mentioned in the notes because I think you will read it, you will memorize it. I can't explain you, it's just the basic functions. You have nerves in your eyes, nerves in your ears, and the basic functions. I don't think so I should be explaining you that. Again, if you have any questions, yes, you can ask me that as well anytime you want. Now we have autonomic nervous system, which has been divided into two nervous system further, which are sympathetic and parasympathetic. These both have a fight or flight. So in fight or flight moment, for example, a big tiger is right in front of us. We will either fight with the tiger or with that elephant, but because the elephant is bigger than us, he is massive, the tiger is massive, it will harm us, we will not be able to fight. So we flight, we try to escape. In that moment, we have these two nervous systems activated. Let's talk about sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is a nervous system which gets activated in an emergency situation. So one example, the tiger is right in front of you, and in an emergency situation, what will happen? Your sympathetic nervous system will get activated. Your pupils will dilate, your bronchi will dilate, right? Constrict, right? That is why it is very, very important for you to know that in sympathetic nervous system, you have emergency situation, right? Your pupils dilate, your bronchs, your lungs dilate. You see a lot because of people pupil, gets big. You inhibit salivation and digestion. You don't feel. Inhibit means something you don't feel. So at that moment when the tiger is looking at you, why would you feel hungry? The tiger would feel hungry. Why would you feel hungry? Right? So your hunger, your digestion, everything will stop. You were about to go to the washroom, you were about to poop. I know this sounds disgusting, but just hear me out. You are about to poop, but as soon as you saw the tiger behind you, you were shocked, you could not feel that anymore, your digestion stopped, your salivation, your mouth got dry, because in fight or flight a mouth gets dry. That is all because of your fight or flight. So what happens? You're in an emergency situation. Sympathetic nervous system gets activated. Pupils dilate, bronchi dilates. Your salivation stops. Your digestion stops. Accelerated heartbeat. Your heartbeat increases. You have increase in blood pressure. That is something that you have to remember. Your blood pressure increases, right? And this is something that people notice a lot when they are nervous, when they're anxious, that they can sense their heart beating a lot. The heartbeat has increased um a lot and then before, so they could notice that. I could notice my heartbeat when I was about to give a presentation. It was beating and beating. I was not about to stop because I was so nervous, and I could just feel that. I could feel the blood pressure increasing, and that was giving me headache as well. And it relaxes bladder. Some people, when they get scared, they pee in their pants. That's not something to be embarrassed about. That's something I'm sorry, the screen's gone, right? For a moment, yeah, I'm really sorry. So yeah, that's something happens to a lot of people, and that's not something that you should be embarrassed about. It happens to everyone, not everyone of course, but to people who are in an emergency situation. If you would have been in an emergency situation when the tiger would have been right in front of you, and if you tell this to friends, your friend might laugh. But again, if it is actually happening to your friend, he or she would might be peeing in their pants, because the tiger is so huge in size. He would have eaten that person alive. Like, the tiger's mouth is so big. The tiger won't even give you a disclaimer. You know what I'm gonna do right now? I'm gonna just eat you. So just decide a last wish. It's not gonna happen like that. So this is something that you have to remember, that when it actually happens, your bladder gets relaxed, and that's something that you do unintentionally, unconsciously. You're not aware of that, right? And then you have two basically neurotransmitters, epinephrine and non-epinephrine. These are the fight or flight neurotransmitters, which are released because you're nervous, and you are not nervous, sometimes you're nervous, but the tiger situation, you're just so scared. And now we have parasympathetic, which is again totally opposite to the sympathetic nervous system. Your parasympathetic is important for relaxing your body. So now, there was a security guard. He was very good at handling the tigers, and the security guard gave them chicken, and the tiger moved away from that washroom, or wherever the tiger was standing, not standing, wherever the tiger was. He just went to eat his food, because apparently it was not that delicious for him. The chicken was much more delicious for him. So the security guard who was handling that wildlife sanctuary, or whatever, the tiger sanctuary, I don't know what it's called, the wildlife place, whatever, or a jungle, the security guard thankfully gave that tiger food, and the tiger got distracted for a while, and then he was kept in cage. And so your situation got normal. You were in a jeep, you went back to your jeep, you sat there, you drank water, you were relaxed. So now what happened is that the sympathetic nervous system was activated for a while when the tiger was right in front of you. Now it is not in front of you anymore. The tiger is gone. Maybe he's eating his food, because you're not his delicious food anymore. He's got chicken, he's happy with it. What will happen now? You will be calm, you will be in your normal state, you will be restored. So now you're back with your normal state, with your family. You are happy, you're back in a jeep, you're not feeling scared anymore. The security guard is yelling at you that why did you even get out of your jeep, and he was like, no, I wanted to pee. No, why did you want to pee? You could have controlled it. The tiger was literally in front of you. You would have attacked if I would not have come on time. So yeah, again, so you are back at your normal state. Your pupils were dilated before in sympathetic nervous system, but now your pupils are constricted. Constrict bronchi, lungs are normal. You're not taking a lot of air in, because you don't need a lot of air. Your salivation has become absolutely normal. It is salivating. Your mouth is not dry anymore. Your digestion is normal now. The poop example, you wanted to poop but you could not. Now you can poop normally. You can feel hunger, because at that time you could not feel hunger. The tiger would have felt hunger, but then his hunger stopped after looking at you. Okay, that's weird. That's a roast, right? He was not feeling hungry after looking at you. The tiger was like, yeah, it's a boring food, why would I have to have it? Then you have slow heartbeat, because you're normal. Your heartbeat is not increasing. Your presentation is done. You're sitting in your chair in your classroom. Everyone is just doing their work. Nobody is judging you, and your bladder is constricted. You don't feel that scaredness. You're not a scaredy cat anymore. You're not feeling that embarrassment or anything, because your bladder is normal again. So you are absolutely normal. Your bladder is constricted. neuroplasticity concept. Let's understand what is neuroplasticity. So when you have any trauma, you have any problem, any accident that happened in your brain or to your brain, or any trauma in life, mental health issue that it happened to you, so your brain has this tendency of changing the structure and function of many cells. So the cells you have in your body, we talked about neurons. So the neurons will change its structure, the neurons will change their functions in the brain, because in your nervous system you have neurons, right? So they will automatically change the structure and their function because they want to constantly change. For a change they will do that, and it happens constantly, it happens a lot whenever you face any trauma, any experience, any injury, anything. It will automatically happen, you won't have to tell them, it will automatically happen. And what will happen, the structure of the cells and the functions of the cell might change. Now we have neurogenesis. It is again a very different concept. It is when your new neurons are transformation. The new neurons, when they are formating, when there is a formation happening of the new neurons, in short, that is called neurogenesis, and it happens in adulthood maximum, and after that it stops. So you might hear that your parents are saying to your grandparents that now you're old, you might not think that much, you're not able to move your body that much, you're not able to, you know, do the maths as much. So my father used to tell my me about my grandfather, that my grandfather was really good at maths in his time, but I never used to believe it because I never realized that there is a concept called neurogenesis, that now he's getting old, now his brain is not able to form new neurons, and he's not able to function as good as he used to function in his adulthood. When he was in 20s, when he was in his sorry, when he was in his 30s, he used to function very well, his maths was very good. But now because he's old, there are no formation of new neurons. The formation almost stops after your 30s, completely stops, or even if there is a formation, it's not a lot. The maximum formation is in adulthood. That's why we say that you make your career in adulthood, your neurons fire the most, they get activated the most, your brain works the best. That is why you should only focus on a career during this age. Of course you should do things, you should explore, but again you should come back to the career, because neurogenesis is actually a very scientific process that exists. And now we have stem cells. Now, what are stem cells? These are the cells which can become other cells. They can replace other cells. So they are capable of becoming other types of cells. You know, whenever they need to be replaced. So you have stem cells. So you don't have to worry that if all my cells are there, they are just separated. No, they're not separated. They can actually replace each other, and they have this capacity, this capability of replacing each other if they want uh, to be replaced. It will happen by the stem cells, by the other types of cells there. So they have this capability. Then you have epigenetic. It is just the study of genes and environment, how your genes and environment influence you. What is the interaction between your genes and your environment, your diet, life structure, experience, life experiences, diet, your family dynamics, your friends, your peer groups, whatever. So here we study about the genes and we study about the environment. That is something you have to know. We will talk about endocrine and exocrine glands. In CUTPG, endocrine gland is important, but knowing the difference between two can really help. That we will discuss. I hope you have understood everything till now. This was a short session where I explained to you about peripheral nervous system. I give you the tiger example. I personally loved it the most. If you loved it, let me know. Thank you for watching it. I love you all so much. Bye.